Hey, welcome to the Hired AV podcast. My name is Joe Way, and I am your host. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. We have an exciting one because I always love when I bring people who are part of my team on the show. But technically, it's technically our second time because there was a 5 minute cameo on some ISC experience. So it's not
Yeah.
technically the first time. But that being said, Melis, please introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and what you do.
Yes. So if you didn't catch me at ISC for that brief moment, I'm the manager of AVIT operations for digital spaces within UCLA. So I wear many, many hats and I report to the fabulous Joe Way. So on the operational side, I do the traditional budgeting, purchasing, inventory management, facilities coordination. And then on the other side, I do security cameras and digital signage as well. So it's very exciting. No day is the same. And yeah, just happy to be at UCLA and with digital spaces and working alongside Joe. It's a great, great place to be.
Yeah. So you have a wide portfolio, which we're going to get to. But the reason I actually have you on the show today is because all right. So a little behind the scenes, we are recording this on Monday, May 5th, and you are listening to this on Tuesday, May 6th. But today was announced SCN the Nine. So System Contractor News selects 9 up-and-coming professionals in our industry to spotlight who they see Uh, are ones who are going to define the next generation. And you are the sole higher ed representative in this year's class of the nine. So, first off, congratulations on that. It is quite an honor. And so, just tell us, what does that kind of mean to you to represent higher ed in this way?
Yeah, it means so much. And I'm so thankful for the incredible honor. Something that I talked about in my interview, which is really important to me, is, and something we see a lot of in the higher ed space, is this room to grow, to have kindness in the way that we approach our work. What else? What's great too about being in digital spaces and UCLA, when I mentioned the growing, is um, being able to let me take a step back. So, fun fact about me is I actually have a very big fear of public speaking. However, I always throw myself in these situations where, it's a chance to learn and grow. So, going back to that is, I think what makes me unique is I always want to learn. I always want to improve upon myself. I always want to put myself in these situations where I can bring value to wherever I'm contributing. And I try to approach with kindness and candor, and do all those great things. So I approach the interview that way, and I try to approach every single day at UCLA that way as well.
You definitely do. I would say, one of the things that as you've stepped in, um, is the kind of common theme that I hear about you is, well, one, obviously like the easiest person to work with, but you work a lot with like Stratcom and just your ability to, I don't want to say, I would say weave like important high level I don't know what the right words is. Now I'm getting flustered. No, and that's hard for me. No, is to the way you've been able to connect what we're doing and what we're growing, because I would say we're a grassroots organization, right, in
Mhm.
digital spaces,
Definitely.
especially but then you work hand in hand with strategic communications and security and a lot of high profile people at the university, and how you've been able to kind of connect that and bring our vision into them. So talk a little bit about kind of like what is that secret sauce of what makes you so good at that?
Thank you. And as you were talking, so many things were coming to mind. So, similar to what you say, everything in life and sales, I think it's really important to know who your audience is and think about who you're communicating to. Because someone, let's say at the top of the organization, they're caring more about budget, the financial impact, timelines. Someone at a different level of the organization might be more interested in like the functional use of something. So before going into any meeting, one, I prepare a lot because like I said, I'm someone who whenever I show up to something want to bring a lot of value to whatever that conversation is. And I think I'm like, okay, what do I think this person would care about? and what is my end goal when approaching this meeting? Like, what do I want to get out of this? And so in a positive way, we always have to have a goal of whatever we're doing. So I think, okay, how can I craft my message so that'll reach this person, and then I can also achieve the goal that I set for the meeting? In this day and age with Zoom, it's amazing. Like, I love all the meetings. It's so easy to collaborate, but we don't want to just have meetings to set meetings, and we don't want to fill the time for the sake of filling time. I think it's really important to go into whatever call that you have, and once you've achieved it, then great. And then you can move on to the next thing. Because especially at UCLA, to your point, we're at this grassroots organization. We have so much to do. There's so much that we're building, and our time is super valuable. So I try to take that approach, as well as the people that we're meeting, try to be mindful of their time too. So.
Yeah, I think that's really important because a lot of times, and I see this a lot with technologists, is a lot of times we want to either sell what our solution is, or we know, okay, hey, this is what I want someone to do. This is the technology that they should adopt. We know the final kind of goal, but yet, but speaking to what actually matters to them. Maybe that is right, right? We know we want them to adopt XYZ product for a certain reason, and we know it solves their problems, but like you said, some people just care, well, is it actually in our budget? Some actually care, hey, how is this actually going to make me not need as much overhead? How is this going to make my life easier? And understanding all those different points. And you said something that made me think about it in our last one-on-one or something along those lines. You said, you can probably correct me in it, something like, you never get something on the first sale. You got this from the last one. And that's that kind of the idea of being able to speak to the people in that way, right? And knowing kind of how you're going to take that. So how are you adopting that and doing that in what you do?
Yeah, of course. And one thing, again, while you were talking came to mind is, I go into meetings, if I don't have all the answers, let's say I've done some research, I'm always information gathering. So to your point, we might have all the ideas, but if it doesn't solve who we're talking to's needs, then they're not going to be interested, nor are we going to be successful in whatever we sought out to do. So asking those questions, really doing that discovery and digging and finding those needs, I think it's super crucial for any successful project. And like you mentioned on our last one-on-one, I do have a sales background, so I do approach everything I do with a sales mindset. And in sales, at my previous institution, we had a phrase where, you most likely aren't going to sell someone on your first time. Most likely it's going to be the second time they're more familiar with it and all that. So also don't be discouraged. Like another big sales lesson, don't be discouraged with a no or a not right now. Do that information gathering to figure out, okay, like what are the hurdles that I'm coming up with? Why isn't this project moving forward, or whatever it is? Ask those right questions, and then, cater your approach moving forward. And a lot of the time too, it's not necessarily a no, but it's just a not right now, and figuring out, okay, like why is it not right now? And what are the steps that I can take to, again, put myself in a better position moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, especially with what we're doing. Because, like, for example, and I'll just use the digital signage for example, right? That's a brand new vertical this university never had, right? I mean, various departments kind of did it, but now you're having to actually coordinate all of the various areas, but also get that buy-in of like, okay, why should we even have a unified, digital signage focus here and all of those things. So that takes a lot of players, and you probably have some that go, oh yes, I completely believe, let's go do this. And you have some that go, I don't get it. And you have some that you have to prove it to them, and others that go, yes, I'll take it and I get it, right? And you start to see those various customers. So, so for the audience, and I think this is important for management too, how do you then go and balance various players and knowing and bringing that kind of create I don't know what the right word is, but a coalition of people who are championing with you?
Yeah, of course. So when looking, let's use digital signage as an example. So looking at digital signage, I would look across the university and say, like, okay, who are my decision makers? Who do I need to get them to sign off on this? Who are my champions where I know that they're just as passionate about digital signage and really want to make that step? I also would be mindful of who are the people who are a little more hesitant to it, and do some, again, research or information gathering of why they might be hesitant. Because I think one mistake that we do sometimes when trying to push forward products or share ideas is, we're not thinking about the big picture. So we might have those champions and we're on their timeline and things are going great, but we haven't addressed the timeline of our senior leadership, for example, that might need to sign off on this project, and they might have a completely different timeline. So it's taking a step back and getting a holistic picture. And there's another like customer service where if someone has a customer service, like saying if someone has like a poor experience with something and then you turn it into a positive experience, that's more impactful on them than someone who had a good experience and they continue to have a good experience. So if you can figure out with the group that's maybe hasn't had a positive relationship with digital signage in the future, figure out, okay, well, why was that? What can I do to make it better? Because then you could turn some of those people into champions as well. And I honestly may have forgotten your question, but I went on that tangent.
That is great. You got me going everywhere, because I think that's important, and it's actually important for me because I mess up
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm glad to know there's second chances. But I think you're right, because especially as you look at and, even just like what we're doing at UCLA is kind of building from, a lot of technical debt, a lot of not great service, and we're doing that. But a lot of schools, I mean, that's not even just take us, but a lot of schools, IT is not looked at as like a strategic partner. They're looked at as a service provider, and people just see everything that goes wrong. So basically, what you're saying is there is hope, right? Even if people see you as a negative, by being able to come in and champion with them, is that opportunity to turn that around. Right?
And exactly. And I think communication, like in anything, whether it's at UCLA, in our personal lives, just in general, I think communication is super important, and letting them know where you're at, what are the next steps. I mean, like something could take 2 months, but if they're aware and you're communicating them along the way, you'll have a better relationship than if it maybe was in half the time, but there was zero communication at all. And so like our team, when we're basically, like I said, building things from scratch and have all these new initiatives, just communicating with the people that it impacts, or have any relation to the project or what we're doing is super important as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And one of the things too, I want to kind of go back to something you said. Obviously, your previous life. So the SCN article, which I will have everyone linked here in the show notes, I'll have for that. So check that out to actually read it. But it kind of it starts with kind of you stumbled into success here. So give everyone a little bit about how what did you do before UCLA and work your way in.
Yes. So before UCLA, I worked at a couple of tech companies in operations. So at Snapchat and TikTok for a little bit. Then I transitioned over to Oracle, where I was doing sales for the past 5 years. I started in the Oracle Cloud OCI space, and then migrate over to the Oracle Cloud enterprise application space. And I've had all different types of customers along the way. I've had retail customers and who else? Industrial manufacturing. And what really excited me about this role at UCLA was I was always in that selling sales perspective, and I'm a very empathetic person. So I really did connect with my customers and always wanted to give them the best service and really find solutions that made sense for them. Because on that note, you can and it works for UCLA as well. Like, again, we could create a solution to someone, but if they're not going to have value out of it and it's just a waste of time and money and they don't see that return, you just hurt that relationship and it doesn't work out in the future for either of you. So I had that mindset over at Oracle and brought it over to UCLA as well. But what I loved about this position was I got to be in the role of the customer. And again, you're still doing that sales. What I've realized, it doesn't leave you, but being in that role of the customer and experiencing for myself was really exciting. And using this similar skill set that I had in a new way. So everything I'm doing is things I've done before, but I'm taking that skill set and channeling it in a new industry, in a new space, which I love. And at Oracle, I was, like I said, pivoted from the cloud technology space to the cloud application space because I wanted to learn about a new portion of the business. And by stepping into AVIT, I'm so fortunate to be here because I get to learn another portion of IT that I wasn't as familiar with. And what I love, love, love about AVIT is that for someone who isn't familiar with it, like you wouldn't know that it's happening around you because that's the goal. Like it should be seamless. Everything should work well. So you almost don't like think about it as someone who's not familiar with it. But now being in this space, I can't unsee AVIT. It's everywhere I go. I can't unsee digital signage. I'm like, oh, I wonder what brand that is or what they're using, or oh, like I wonder what microphones that is or what control system they're using. And yeah, even I love watching like real estate videos in my free time, and they'll say Crestron home system. I'm like, I know what
Now
that
you
is.
can connect all the dots into it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So then, all right. So now, obviously, when you were going through kind of the process, what really, basically for your operations role, or I'd say to everyone, is that you work with everything that goes across. I know we use digital signage as kind of an example already, but you do like all our finance and all of the the sourcing. You do all of the operations management, the facilities management. So basically, I think say is everything that moves across our organization, right?
Yes.
And so when you were interviewing, the first thing you kind of said was, I remember you talking about strategy, KPIs, and all this stuff, and I was going, okay, this is what we need for somebody who's coming in. I know she can get the AV stuff. You have all the other, with Snapchat and Oracle and all that. It's like IT is IT. We'll figure that part out. So now that this is a question I should ask you on a 1-1, but I'm going to ask you right here with us and 100,000 people listening. No, I'm just kidding. There's not really 100,000 listeners. Close, but no, just kidding. Just 5,000 or so. So what I want to ask you now that you've been for whatever it is, it's been a while now. What are those KPIs that AV people should be looking at in order to have a successful department?
This is a good question. This is such a good question.
Oh
man, you're really putting me on the spot here. I guess it depends what you're looking at. I'm going to take digital signage. We're not there yet, so it's still a work in progress. But something that for digital signage, for example, it's super important, and it's super important. However, it's something where if you don't have the budget for it, I could see people saying, why is this important? So I would say an important KPI, for example, digital signage, is if we can gather, who's looking at the displays currently. So that's one thing that we're looking into is it a camera? Is there some type of device that we can use to gauge, who's currently looking at the signs right now? And then as we implement changes, can we justify the price or the investment in digital signage in the future? And that is one really, really important KPI that, currently in the process of measuring, getting our footprint of where we are now, and then also measuring from the future. Because if you can have those, just those metrics on who's using this, and for some universities, potentially revenue generating can come, or you can generate revenue from these digital signs. And have that, I think that's a really, really great way to justify the investment. I mean, other KPIs could be, something simple like an SLA, like how long is it taking us currently to get back to some of our end users of the equipment or the service that we're providing. Let's measure our current SLAs and create a goal and work towards that goal. And give us, I love SMART goals too. Let's create a SMART goal to get to a better SLA time. What else? I mean, it's something really interesting. I've always known inventory is really important. But when I first came to UCLA, I reached out to other operations managers, and they were saying, inventory is tough to get to on my list. And now that I'm in this position, I understand why. But thinking through, again, to working on this, but, thinking through other inventory SLAs as far as, or metrics, how often do we need to replace certain equipment? What does that time frame look like? Maybe it's measuring that, this brand doesn't, I have a little more longevity out of this brand. And even though it's a little bit more expensive, I have a longer, shelf life or whatever it is. So that's my on the spot KPI. There's just so many KPIs you could do. So
See, I love it. That's why you're in the role you're in, because I think a lot of times, especially, in IT and definitely our IT department, but probably a lot of CIOs and leadership love to say, well, we make data-driven decisions, right? But I'll tell you, even AV people will say that, but I never see them really do it. So being able to say, have those lets you actually now go to leadership and say, here's the data we have. Here are these indicators that we've had. Oh, yes, for those KPI, key performance indicator, SLA, service level agreement. There, that's for the people who didn't know what we're talking about. And to take that data so that now we can get to the goals that we want, or we can get the things that we know we need, right? Because that's the language I think leadership speaks, right?
yes. And I got excited.
Keep going.
On your note too, something that I think is really important is goals or SMART goals. And it's something that you also are like, why am I doing this? Is for some might feel like, oh, I'm so busy. I don't really have the time for this. But to create a goal, it's such a helpful reminder. Like if you do a check-in for yourself, and we can be realistic, like every month, oh, what was that goal that I made? Oh, okay. Let me check and see if I'm hitting those metrics that I set up for myself. Again, in a previous life in sales, we did QBRs every quarter, which is quarter business review, quarterly business review. And my whole team always going into it was like, oh, why are we doing these? Why are we doing these? But every single quarter, it was so great to measure your progress on the goals that you had set the quarter before. And just having that reminder was such a good reset for any projects that may have been stalling and it's just a great reminder to have. So it's something I've stressed too, is the SMART goals and holding yourself accountable with them, even though if it seems like a lot.
So along those lines, so now yours is a brand new department that didn't exist. Your vertical, the operations department. So now you have your employees that you've recruited and some that were here. So now, how are you applying that to your team that's now new? I think you're about 4 weeks into having your team, 5 weeks of being fully staffed. So now, how are you doing that? How are you using goals to now align them with our greater vision and your vision for your department?
Yeah, of course. So recently what we did as a team, we already had our, university mission and values. We had our digital spaces mission and values. But then we took it to the team level. So we crafted our own mission statement and values. And Slack is such an amazing tool. I have a homepage in there where I have our mission, I have our values. Our next step now is our goals. In the past week, we've all been able to think of some goals, and actually on Thursday, we're sharing our goals as a group and then using the SMART goals framework to make sure that our goals are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time bound, all that. So we're doing that this week. And then our goals are for the next 6 months. We have a check-in as a team in 3 months, more formal check-in, and we'll be doing monthly check-ins as well. But, looking forward to see all that we accomplished for our team, because we just have so many initiatives and so many deliverables, especially over the summer. So it'll be fun to look back 6 months from now and see where we're at. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that because, we are, as I think, the news is kind of getting out, we are doing this huge-ish classroom pilot that's going to then inform what we do going into the future as we scale out. So having that for your team and saying, okay, this is our part, this is how we're going to do that and go into it. So now that you've been with me, how long has it been? 6 months?
I think it's been 9 months, almost 9
months. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh my gosh. All right. I know it's hard to believe I've been here almost 2 years. It's crazy. So now, with that, what are you most looking forward to with kind of what our plans are going forward?
I'm so excited about our pilot project. Every time we get a chance to talk about it, because right now we're still in that planning phase, when it's done, it's going to be so amazing to see it in person and see it come to life. I'm also I don't know if I could announce this or not, but I'm also very excited about our plans for our control system. I think that's
That is
really
public, so you can do
okay,
that.
great.
Yes.
That is very revolutionary, and it can impact so many other areas within AV, especially our team. Again, I hope I can say this, but there's also like an inventory module within the control system, which is amazing. I've noticed that it's really helpful when you have a solution that can do many things well. Of course, if it doesn't do it well, then that's not helpful. But when you do have that platform, it really makes your life so much easier. And we're so blessed to have such a technically technically incredible team.
We got the best of the best, huh?
We really do. And I'm just really excited what they can do from like a software standpoint, because it'll also consolidate a lot of our decision making as far as how we operate as digital spaces. And I'm just looking forward to like the platform growing as we onboard different areas on campus. So.
You made me think. I was sticking on this, but I'm going to go back to some previous life because I want to take some things that maybe you've learned. Like I think in the AV industry, IT they will talk platform. AV never talks. I think we're the first to actually talk platform. But at Oracle, that's what you were. Right? You sell platform. At Snapchat, you were about user experience. And now you have this role that's about building a platform across our thing and making sure we have a good user experience. How do those inform what you're looking to do here and what you're doing with your team?
Yeah. One thing, well, a great lesson that I learned from Oracle was the biggest benefit of Oracle was not necessarily like the individual modules like HR, finance, this. It was the platform that they were all connected on and having that home. And that really was the selling point. Because in all transparency, there's a lot of great like point solutions that do what they do extremely well, and that's amazing. If that works for someone, great. But with us, what's exciting is that we will have this platform, so everything will be consolidated. It'll make our life so much easier. But because we have that technical team and Place OS who's willing to partner with us and improve their product, we can get something that not only is like consolidated and like makes our lives easier. And I mentioned earlier, decision making, like having consolidated information is just allows for quicker decisions and more informed decisions. And having such a strong technical team that we can really build up some of these modules within the platform, I think is really, really amazing. And to your point, yes, Snapchat was all about the user experience. That was their priority. And it's been really helpful as we build that out, for example, for digital signage, seeing the tools that they used. And UCLA is using very similar tools, which is exciting, that we're also like adapting a similar customer service method that was so successful there. And I don't know if I can say the tools, but they're ones everyone uses. But so.
Yeah, I know, I love it. And yeah, we can throw names around.
Okay, great, good to
care
know.
here. So now that you've kind of been 9 months on the AV side, what do you like most about what have you said? Because obviously it was new. Again. So what was it that has captured you? Because you've been to a number of conferences. You've been around our people and stuff. So kind of what is that takeaway? The thing you go, actually, I love this vertical. Vertical.
Yeah. So there's so many things that I love. I do want to call out our team. Every day, I am so impressed by our team. Our team is amazing. Like they're so smart. They're so innovative. We have such an innovative leader as well. And they're so collaborative. I love paying. I don't know if they know how the structure works. So, I'm in operations. There's a solutions team. I love just bouncing ideas off of the solutions team. I love how much they're willing to collaborate with me and talk about customer service. I can talk to them and say, like, this is the result that I want for the people using, the security cameras, digital signage, even our own teammates. This is the vision that I have, and they really put it to life. And that's something that's so exciting to me is that we have the team to do this. Is just every day I'm in awe of the team. also too, I'm someone who loves to learn. And I think what's exciting about AVIT is, there's always something new. There's always something to learn. There's always someone to learn from. I love too that it provides such an experience too for like everyday individuals, and that everyone is impacted by it every day. Like, I mean, any building you walk into, it's like AVIT right there, weddings, AVIT, what else? I mean, I'm engaged, so I have weddings on the brain. So I'm like microphones, the lights, sound system. What else? I would also have to call out you. I mean, I'm so thankful that I'm a part of your team. Like, you are an amazing leader.
Yes, I agree. Totally. That is the best thing you've said. Flattery will get you everywhere.
And you really just encourage us to go for it. Go to the moon, and and every day I'm in awe of how wonderful of a leader I have. So yeah.
Aw. All right. So now on that, I love that you've found that. That but see, oh, now so let me say, so now let's fill in the blank for me. Now
Yeah.
that we look forward and we're getting this project, you talked about you're excited to see it in place. So am I,
Mhm.
as we kind of get into the fall. But now look ahead, because we've got the 2028 Olympics that, on campus. We're doing things.
Yeah.
So in say 4 years, so we will be a success if dot dot dot. Fill in the blank.
Yes. We will be a success if, let's say, we have seamless digital signage across the campus. I'm going to focus on digital signage. We have that single platform. I'm able to measure the effectiveness of the displays. I'm able to cater the displays to the audience, and I'm able to generate revenue from these displays to reinvest in the displays and other projects that help the student body. I think another special thing that I forgot to mention is what's really, really rewarding about working at UCLA and just working like for a university is you see your direct impact every day. The students are there in the classrooms, in the dining spaces, around campus, and it's such a great reminder of like, okay, this is who I do it for. And not only the students, but the faculty or the parents with incoming freshmen, or for our case, the athletes for the Olympics. I mean, how exciting is that? And I think that's what's really special about what we do in higher ed is that we like live in that space. And yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think that I love that example too, because I think that applies to everything with just where you said those measurables, the actions, and how we can use our technologies for the betterment of the students, but also the university and self-sustainable, all of those types of things. And, as people have always heard me say, I hate that we're a cost center. I want to be a revenue center. Right. And I think
Yeah.
we can, and most people don't look at our area that way.
And
Right.
I think it's important too to take the stigma out of revenue generation and all that, because, by generating revenue, like it's going back to the students, it's going back to projects that, benefit them, or again, like other campus stakeholders. Like that's why we do it, is that so we can have more resources to just continue like innovating and making their life as best as we can. And of course, doing that while we're keeping our stakeholder needs in mind. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, what are your thoughts? Because now, what's very interesting is you haven't been in this side very long, but you've probably met every major player and all the movers and shakers in the AV industry just because of being at various events and things like that. So, what is your takeaway? What do you think of like the greater industry itself?
Oh, another tough question. I love how tight knit this industry is. I think it's so. If you haven't been to a conference with Joe Way, I mean, have you been to a conference? It's so much fun walking with you, and you're like saying hello to everyone, and it's amazing too. Like you always have such great recall too of everyone, and where they're from, and all what they're doing. So, and that's a common theme actually. When I first joined this role, I had a lot of informational interviews, which is also something I recommend. It's helpful just to get out there and talk to people, because it could spark new ideas, or make you think or approach something the way you haven't before. But anyway, one of the biggest takeaways that I had from some of those early interviews is, how people they've had these relationships for such a long time, and they really love being in this space. And whether it's AVIT or higher ed or the combination of the two, and how people do just jump around from space to like place to place, and continue to work with different colleagues maybe in different ways. And I think it's just a sign of like what a great industry this is that you have people who are dedicated to it and are there for such a long time, and like really value the relationships that they've formed with each other along the way, and like help each other along the way too. Yeah.
I love that. Oh boy, I have so many more questions, but I'm going to save a couple of them for the rapid round. All right, so now we're here. So we're going to transition the show. I knew this was going to go. See, I could talk to you for hours. So,
Oh,
but we're going to switch to the kind of rapid round. So this part of the show, as we kind of start to wind down, is there's no right or wrong answer unless I have an opinion of my own. There could be a wrong answer, and they're just fun miscellaneous questions that mean nothing. All right. So everybody on your first time on the show, even though it's technically not your first time, it's your first time on your full episode. Everyone gets the same first question. The
okay.
question is, so colleges are all about tradition. What
Yeah.
is your favorite college tradition?
Oh, this is really good. What is my favorite college tradition? Do I? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no, why is this rapid? No. Okay, I was gonna do a UCLA one, but I couldn't help myself. I'm gonna say USC game days because those are just way too fun.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go. See, I was wondering if like, is she gonna go to SEC? So we have that in common. We're both SC alums,
Yeah.
and now we're working across town. So, uh, give me the yeah, game day at SC is that's a good one. All right, so now we're gonna stick with the SC UCLA. What is the one thing that that you have found that as a Bruin now you have liked the most that you
Oh,
didn't think?
so I took a Sunday and I walked around campus. I love campus, but the sculpture garden at UCLA is such a hidden gem. There's Matisse's there, Rodin's just hanging out in the park. I mean, it's incredible. It's definitely a must see and a must stroll.
Yes, I agree. All right. So, well, you had done some, I think even before here, you'd done some professional development stuff through UCLA as well, but right before you kind of came. But
Yeah.
how quickly were you able to transition from Cardinal to Blue?
I mean, I'm a it doesn't take much.
Yeah. All right. So USC and UCLA are playing basketball. Who are you rooting for?
Okay, well then I mean, I have to say USC.
I
I
know
guess
you
it
do.
didn't take.
See, I did this.
They're both great institutions. You really can't go wrong.
I know. See, that's what's so bad. Like, I try to be like neutral, but I'll put on UCLA on TV, and I see them play something. I'll throw it on, but then
Yeah.
once they're playing UCLA and USC play each other, so UCLA they're on, and then it's like I find myself rooting for USC.
I've
So,
actually been to a lot of UCLA football games, especially yeah, and I have some UCLA football shirts. So,
all right, pick one: Rose Bowl or Coliseum.
oh, why are you doing this to me? I'll tell you why. I would say the Rose Bowl because it is so historic. However, the reason I like the Coliseum is that it's walking distance from
From
from the
campus.
campus and the Olympics. And
Yeah.
also, fun fact, I went to the NASCAR race at the Coliseum. I don't know how many years, maybe like 3, 4 years ago.
Hunter and I were there together.
Yes, it was so fun.
Uh, or well, Hunter was there and I was there too. That's
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, that
yeah,
was fun. It was like real life Mario Kart. It
yeah, it
was
was
rad.
amazing. I was
Uh,
also surprised such a small,
mm-hmm.
but anyway.
All right, all right. So usually, also when I'm interviewing people from around the world, around the country, I like to ask about local foods. But you live right around the corner from campus, so that's
Yeah.
really so
Oh,
what is your hidden gem location that you and Alec go to?
okay. So this is USC or UCLA related. Um, Alec and I go somewhere else, but a fellow team member of mine, we discovered Black Cat Barbecue around campus.
Oh,
So we indulged in that last week. It was delicious. We had the cornbread, the baked beans, the what else? We had the pulled pork. It was
is this
good.
in Westwood?
It is.
Oh, how do I not know of this place?
Yes, it's one of those like pop-up stands. I think it's like Tuesdays or Thursdays or something. But
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
guess if I didn't work remote so much,
yeah,
I would have
I do
the.
have another one. If you're into
Okay.
sushi, it's a hole in the wall sushi place in Brentwood. It's also close to UCLA. It's called Takao. It's very unassuming from the outside, but it's very, very good.
All right. All right.
Mhm.
Also, another rapid round question. We today is Cinco de Mayo,
Oh,
actually. All right. So, are you going to participate? What is your favorite margarita type? Are you a margarita person? And what is your favorite Mexican food?
yeah. Okay. Favorite Mexican food. I know they're extra, but it has to be the fajitas or a green enchilada. And then for margarita, strawberry blended margarita, of course. And
Okay.
you
Oh,
you have to participate, especially with that one. Not with the strawberry blended, it's a no-brainer.
all right. All right. I like that. That I will accept all that strawberry. That can be, even though I'm the fruity drink kind of guy, but I'll just go. I go straight up Cadillac margarita.
Oh,
I
nice.
can't do green but fajitas solid. Um, and then I'll just and I'm just to go straight tacos and just go straight
Oh,
tacos.
that's a great call too. Tacos are
Can't go wrong with
can't go wrong.
tacos.
True.
You know, it's hard. You know, it's actually hard to go wrong with Mexican food in general. And in
True.
LA, we are blessed with the best Mexican food in the world.
That is
Outside of
yeah.
Mexico, of course. All right. And actually, I've had better Mexican food in LA than sometimes places in Mexico. So
Wow.
I will say that. Well, it also depends, right? Because there's high class and there's
Yeah.
low class, and there, right, some higher places. You know, whatever. All right. Okay. We talked about Olympics. So, what's your favorite Olympic sport?
What's the one I know this is Winter Olympics, but the one with the sliding
This
with
like
the brooms.
Bob. Yes.
It, it, I,
Curling. Curling.
yes.
That okay. That is winter. What about a summer? We're going to be Olympic
Honestly,
Village.
anything on the track I think is really fun.
Anything on the track. All
Yeah.
right. All right. I like it. All right. Now that you have just recruited another question or two. Now that you have just finished recruiting a team, what is the one thing you found that you look for when you're hiring a team member?
I would say a team player, especially when you have so many projects to work on and there's just a lot to be done and you're again building something from the ground up. You're going to have challenges. It's going to be expected. You're going to learn how to best work together. And so having someone who's a team player and is dedicated to the team and where we want to grow, I think is really fundamental. And I'm happy to say that we have an amazing team, and everyone's really motivated and really excited to, accomplish all the things that we're looking to do. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. Last one. And this is a rapid, but not so rapid, rapid question because it's one. So this is another one that puts you on the spot. I always end with this one. Okay. Now, you get 1 minute.
okay.
1 minute. Pretend the show is yours. If you had your own podcast, what would you talk about? You have 1 minute to talk about anything you want to talk about. It does not have to be tech. It doesn't be
Okay.
any topic on earth. This is your show. Your minute starts now.
Perfect. So I'm getting my master's in psychology. So at the end of my degree, I could be a licensed marital and family therapist should I choose. And so something that I found very interesting going through and getting my degree is there are so many commonalities of like things that we learn in psychology that I've also learned in business. So like in psychology, they teach you the miracle question, which is basically like if I had a magic wand and I could change anything, like what would you change and why? So there's that in psychology. They also use it in business, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Also this scaling question. So like on a scale of 1 to 5, like how satisfied are you with this certain process or the way something's done? We use that in business, also done in psychology as well. So it's been really fun for me to go through, get my degree, and just see them pop up on both the business side and the psychology side. And what else? And I love puzzles and that psychology aspect of being able to figure out a problem or, a challenge with like, I don't know, let's say like, yeah, a challenge with a problem or an individual. I love that. I'll geek out over it. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I love that. Was good. That didn't even put you on the spot. Other ones, all right. So now that was supposed to be the last question, but now you made me think of another one. And I'm afraid to ask it, but I'm not, because we've talked business all the time together.
Yeah.
We talk business, but we don't talk your psychology. I forget you're going to Pepperdine and getting
Yes.
your master's there. So have you ever psychoanalyzed me? What is my problems?
I would never psychoanalyze you. No, I haven't. But and plus two, you're not technically allowed to psychoanalyze until you have received your degree. So just following the rules here. Um,
Oh, oh,
but you make a good point. It's something I do have to call out, which is hilarious. I'm getting my master's in Pepperdine. I have done summer school in high school at UCLA and done continuing education courses. I actually started my freshman year at LMU and transferred to USC. So I'm very familiar with the LA. Um,
you've done the whole circle, huh? You've
yes.
hit everything on the 10 and right up PCH there. So there you
Yeah. I'm
go.
just missing, Chapman. What else? Northridge.
There's still a PhD to go, right?
That is true.
I love it. Melis, this has been so much fun to have you on the show. I do want to say last, again, congratulations on being the class of 2025 on SCN's The Nine. It is an honor. Like I said, only 9 a year get in there. This is an honor, and you are part of an elite class of incredible people who have gone on to do transformational things in our industry. So I am looking forward to seeing where this first honor ends up taking you. So thank you very, very much. And thank you very much for coming on the show. And everybody, I will, of course, put all of her contact information, her LinkedIn, her LinkedIn in the show notes here. So please, I encourage you to connect. So thank you very much for coming
Thank
on the
you,
show.
Joe. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been so much fun.
It has been blast, and everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this and got a nice opportunity to get to know Melis a bit. And as always, of course, you can connect with me at Josiah Way and at HiredAV and hetma_org. And as always, the opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, any sponsors of the show, or really anybody who would want to sue us. And besides that, these are just our opinions. And if you didn't like these, there might be better ones next time.